Hey, howdy ho, Lions fans. Welcome to the Detroit Lions podcast. This is episode 495, the official Detroit Lions podcast for Reddit, and we're doing it live like we love to do it. I am your dashing host, Chris, and with me is my good friend and sex magnet, Scott, the man Bischoff. How are you doing on this Victory Sunday, big guy?
Whoa, I'm well. What did you just say?
Well, I know you don't want the secret to get out.
Those words are.
You don't want the secret to get out. I get it. We got a lot going on. We got another victory. It's a victory Sunday for the Detroit Lions. Another one in a row. It's another victory by multiple digits, more than one digit. We'll talk about that as well. We're going to cover Coach Campbell's post-game presser. There's probably a couple other pressers we'll hit when the other players get in there as well. We'll do a little round table discussion about the game. Take your calls and a whole lot more. Got a great show lined up. My man Bish, you ready to go, brother?
Yeah, let's roll.
Sexy time.
Let's kick this off and break it down.
I am so uncomfortable right now.
That's how I always start the show. I apologize. I do that. I do that to everyone. Okay, first off, I got to thank later subscriber Derek Everett. Thank you so much for doing the subby thing for us. We appreciate those who subscribe, like, and all that to these shows. We appreciate it. Helps the others find us and helps us get our name out there. Also, don't forget about St. Jude. We're trying to rock and roll with our St. Jude season for St. Jude this year, raising some money for sick kids and their families. Go ahead and go to stjude.org/DLP and get to be part of that action. It's a great charity. It's a great thing. We try to help some folks out and get the funds in there to help stop cancer and help these families who need it when they need it the most. All right, with that, let's get into it. Mr. Bischoff, the Detroit Lions just curb stomped the Carolina Panthers. I don't know if there's another way to put it.
There really isn't, and we were talking about this a little before, but it's uncomfortable how easy they're making some of these games look. And I know that it's the Panthers, and I know they're limited with what they have offensively and defensively and all these things, but it's still an NFL team, and we've seen the Lions, even last year at moments, struggle to look like this, as complete as they look with significant pieces out. You have no Amon-Ra, you have no Jahmyr Gibbs, you have no Brian Branch. They're missing pieces which in the past would have held them back, and today I was trying to think of a good word to describe what that looked like on TV today, and they just pulverized them.
Yeah,
they just a curb stop is a good word, or a good adjective to describe what the Lions did. Just how easy they made that look. And it just looks like, at least from my eye, watching it, they did in this game whatever they wanted. You want to get cute and throw it to Laporta on a double reverse kind of a whatever, cool. We could do that. Or we could just run the ball. You're not stopping it. There's nothing sexy about the way that what they're doing on offense, the way they're running the ball, with the exception of it's very difficult to do to line up and say, we're going to move you off the ball. You don't want to go backwards. You're going to go backwards, and we're going to run for 5, 6, 7 yards a pop, and there's nothing you can do about it. And it's just, again, it doesn't look. It's not like flinging it all over the field in the passing game, but to be able to control a game like that, and just to take an opponent's soul and just rip it out and give them no opportunity to really, Carolina had no chance in that game. And like I said, it's uncomfortable to watch how easy they're making this. It's remarkable. It's awesome.
Yes, it is. It is a great summation, Scott. Awesome as usual. I do want to say thank you. Floundericious is back. $200 match. This is how you do it, folks. Double your money for St. Jude. stjude.org/DLP. Everything we raise during this show up to $200. Our man Flounder will match. So you got $5, you got $10. You turn your 5 to 10, your 10 to 20, whatever you got, 50 to 100. Help us go. stjude.org/DLP. Flounder, thank you, brother. You're a great fella, man. Also, thank you, William Treese, a man on a mission. He has been out there to get rid of Stafford on the opener for the quick hits, for the vlog stuff, the game previews, all the stuff on that little opening sequence we have. For it's been a while that he's been into this, and then I will promise you, I knew you would do it, so I'm ready. We will have it changed. It's a new one starting tomorrow. New intros coming out. Thank you, William, for that big $50 on the super chat. Thank you, brother. Goff 16, Stafford 9, $25 for Victory Sunday. Double it to get the image of Stafford during the intro off. We got you, brother. It's gone. Oh, man. Yes, everybody's in a good mood today. We're waiting for the presser with Coach Campbell. We'll see what basically what funny questions look like, because we're guaranteed to get those. It seems like the normal questions just don't come our way during those press conferences. It's something, but love it. Goff. Let's talk about Jared Goff. This is something we've got. Goff Unflappable. Goff is the guy. Jared Goff has come into his own. A lot of criticism in the early years. A lot of criticism. He stood out there today. I mean, I hate to say it, he takes a hit even better than Matthew Stafford. It was because I was always, Matthew Stafford, and I love the guy. I've said it a million times, but every time he got sacked, his face was like, like it was like this, you know what I mean? I was like, like, is his head coming off? Like, what's happening, right? Goff, he is a man back there. And he has been pumping that ball down the field, sticking it out in the pocket. When he has to, he's taking the hits. He's gotten rid of the ball. He has been absolutely unflappable, like Paul says. Got to give props to Goff out there.
100%. And as a person who, I mean, I think it's pretty public where I was with Goff when they made that trade. I thought there was upside with him, but because there was unknown with him coming here from McVay's offense and really not having to learn anything, kind of having, it's almost like the parent who does everything for their kid. When the kid leaves the house, is there some upside that, that you don't quite know about? Maybe. But a day like today where you don't have his safety blanket, his security blanket in Amon-Ra St. Brown, you don't have the weapons that he's used to having. And then for him to go out there and he threw for 3, ran for 1, like you have that kind of a day. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So he deserves every bit of credit that is coming to him. He deserves. He's playing at a super high level, and Lions are in a great position right now. They just are, and it starts with Goff. He's playing fantastic.
Yeah, I have to admit that touchdown. People are going to be that made me angry. And the Reynolds touchdown frustrated me as well. And people are going to say, "What the heck?" And this is where fantasy and and gambling ruined the game. I needed one more from Monty. I needed Montgomery to go for one more today. I would have scored a couple of bucks and it would have been nice. But if that's all I have to complain about, and this is my wife said, I hate fantasy, I hate gambling, just because you can't just be happy. I'm like, if that's all I got to complain about is a couple of bucks, I'm fine. Because I would rather. Yeah. Life is good. Oh man. All right. Let's another one I want to call out, another player. He's shown up big time the last 2 weeks after walking away from socials. Jerry Jacobs, another interception this week. They've got him played, and I don't think a lot of people understand the style that he's playing. A lot of times it's just keep him under you, let him get the catch, prevent the yak. That's the defense. It's just seal him up, kind of D. But that pick today was just a thing of beauty, man. Jerry Jacobs has been on fire these last couple of weeks.
No doubt. And, it's very important for him to step up and emerge as the player that we already know he is, and to kind of hold down that second corner position. Again, it's not like they had, crazy good weapons out there, but still you got to make plays, and the plays were there to be made. He's making them.
Yep.
Last week, same thing. So, kudos to him too.
Yeah. Yeah. Who were your stars out in the field today? Who are the guys that you really, whether they were expected or guys that kind of flew under the radar for a lot of folks?
So, I mean, the offensive line so as an O-line coach, it's like, of course I'm going to talk about the offensive line. I thought they played really well. Jameson had a drop, but you saw him impact and stay in there and impact a game without catching passes with some of the blocking that he sprung Montgomery on the long touchdown. In a block. I mean, it was a nice block. He blocked number 42 and he just kind of held him up.
Yep.
And then, you know, so I mean, I think it's good when a player like JMO can do things after missing time, even dropping a pass today where, you know, he's going to get crushed for it, but hanging in there and making plays and being a part of their offense, not just in a traditional manner. I thought Montgomery had a great day running the ball. Obviously, Goff was really good. Laporta looks like
he's for real.
Like, yeah, like, you know, we've talked about this. I think he's a better receiving option than Hawkinson ever was, because of the run after catch stuff and the things that you can do with him. But he's a really good blocker too.
Yep.
You know, so there's that. And then on defense, you had Hutchinson looked like you would expect. The pick is ridiculous. I did not love his lack of awareness on the pick when he got lit up.
Yes.
In his thigh.
Yes, I was really worried about that hit.
Yeah. Like, if that's a little lower, we could be talking about something devastating right now because he is so important to what they do. I mean, they did a great job overall stopping the run, limiting everything. You know, they gave up 3 touchdown passes, but all that's in, you know, most of that's in garbage time anyway, so it doesn't mean all that much.
Yep.
But, you know, I would say that's a well-rounded ass kicking, and they all we could talk about all of them. They, you know, it was good. It was really good.
Across the board, the team came out and performed today. It was fantastic. It was, and this is one of those games. Again, you talk about the historical Lions. I'm not even going to do that whole thing, that whole acronym that people sling around. Historically, the Lions would have stumbled over a game like this, right? A trap game always was a trap for the Lions. They just couldn't get out of their own way. If there was a game that they were supposed to win, they didn't. And if there was a game that they absolutely shouldn't win, they would. And if it was a game that was absolutely critical to get them where they needed to be, they couldn't do it. And this team this year is obviously something different. And they gave the Panthers back a faceful of what they got from the Panthers last year. And this is just such a great step in the right direction for this team.
Yes. And that's a really good way to put it because, I mean, you saw a short 12 games ago or whatever it was, against this very same team, they couldn't get over this hump. And today they make it look like, you know, as easy as, you know, it was. Did they go? I think they went up 14-0. It just seemed like they went on cruise control after that.
Yep.
Super easy.
Yeah.
No worries. We're cool. Easy. Nice. It's been a long time.
It's you said it earlier. I think you said it on the show, but it was definitely when we were talking. It's a little bit uncomfortable for folks. I was laughing with my wife, and in the Slack when they showed those 2 older guys with the hard hats on, and they made the comment. It was like the first part of the fourth quarter. Oh yeah, the hard hats. They got those on. I'm like, yeah, those guys are 26. They've just been Lions fans their whole life, right? it's what it feels like, right?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, mine are 18 and 15, and it's like I'm jealous of what you guys have in your short-term future with this team because, you know, I never had it.
Yeah.
So, cool.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah, it really is. Got a great, I mean, I'm watching, you know, with mine, he's 18, and I got a great text from him today into our family chat. He rolls in. He's like, Jerry again, and Jerry, we're so effing good. Holy shit. It's so cool. Like he's you know, pat dad on the head after another Lions loss as I'm growing up. It's okay, Dad. It's, you know, it's just football. Yeah. But now he's kind of found that taste for the game and loving it. He's in college going and watching, you know, his Gators play and all that. But man, to be able to have your team, and he knows how much it means to me, obviously, with all the stuff we do with the Lions. He knows how much. He gets to get that bite. He gets to get hooked in at a time when it's just such a great time to be a Lions fan. It's awesome. So great to be a Lion. All right, let's see. What else we got going on in the chat? This third quarter slump. Yeah, I feel like we finally broke the back on that one with the third quarter.
Yeah, and some of that might have something to do with opponent today, but still,
You've got to do it to believe you can do it. It's one of the things in football, right? And it's now we've done it, so they can believe.
It's not. I mean, it's the NFL, so it's not like we saw it last year. We've seen moments in the past where the teams will come up and out of nowhere stun you, and it just doesn't work that day. But there was never even the remotest hint of that.
Yes.
Today and I would even say outside of moments in the Seattle game, Seattle's a really good football team too. But they're 4-1.
Yep.
We can peek into the short term and think they should be in a really nice position at the halfway point of the season. And doing this with some significant problems in their personnel and injuries and stuff that's been, they're overcoming the things that would have just killed them in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. Ryan Sturdivant, first super chat on the live stream. Thank you, Ryan, for making us your special for your first. You never forget your first. I'm loving these 3-phase wins. Great time to be a Lions fan. It absolutely is, Ryan. Thank you. It's fantastic. Another question rolls in, and we're getting close to the Campbell presser. Eyes are up for that one really quick. Where's the tailgate going to be in Tampa? Will I be able to park nearby? Lot 4. I don't know where. It's lot 4 is where we'll be. And then I have a Coleman. It's like a brown easy up. We're going to bring that along and throw it up. I'm not going to delay. I'm probably going to go in right when the doors open. We've got some things we're putting together. And watch for the live streams that day. It'll be good. The Tampa thing's going to be a good time. But check it. Okay, we got Dan Campbell presser coming on right now. Let's get in here.
There's nothing better than when you tell your team just concerns and you talk about it, and your team tells you, Coach, just freaking relax. All right, we got it. And they did that today. They came out, they set the tone for the game, and really never let off the gas. And you talk about complimentary football. We've been talking about it was time for us to get a knockout, a strip fumble that we got. We talked about our D-line coming up with one. Hutch got one. Come away with 3 takeaways and turn those into 21 points offensively. That's complimentary football. So just an outstanding job by those players who, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, they don't care who we play. It's competition, and they show up. And so they're not worried about the elements, who they have, who we have, what the records are, and I'm proud of the way we showed up. Questions?
Say round out, branch out, 2 of your top hitters this year. You have us late in the week. You just haven't been dealt a very good hand early in the season. But excuse or reason, whatever you want to say it is, a lot of teams crumble in the situation. You guys this year have been able to overcome it better than.
Well, I just think, look, we've been doing it for 3 years, so I guess at some point you get good at it, or get better at it, I should say. I think this is something we talked about. Really, it was after 21. It was, we have to assume we're going to lose a significant amount of our starters every year. That's the assumption. And now what do we do with the guys that we have on this roster, and how do we utilize them, but yet still, have enough to produce against the opponent? And so, look, we're doing a good job of that. These guys are being asked to step up. Or they're making plays for us. We're not getting any drop off. And when we need somebody to show up, they show up for us. Will Harris steps in, makes plays. If he was doing it once we lost Kirby, I can go down the list here. But everybody's got a hand in this. And look, a lot of that credit goes to the coaches. And honestly, they're doing a great job, and these players believe that they're the next man up, and that they can help us, and they are.
When you mentioned about saying something to your team, and saying, "Coach, we got it," were you referencing the fact that when you're going against a winless team, there's a tendency that maybe they could put off the gas or something?
Yeah, you just it's like I told them. I said, I'm not worried about the opponents that you can see eye to eye. Because I believe we can compete with anybody and beat anybody in this league. It's the ones you don't see coming, and they know exactly who's coming, and they know who's around, and they proved that today.
So who was the player that said relax?
I said that because the way they responded today. So I'm the one who said that. That's basically what it felt like when I got in there. It was like, Coach, relax, all right?
What do you challenge the team to do now? You're coming off a dominant win like that. It's not many areas that we see on paper that, improving areas. What do you see? Like, we talked to Ben Johnson, he said he felt the offense could take another step. But what do you see some of the areas improving you can make out of it?
Yeah, I mean, there are. I mean, honestly, even the first series that we had, we took it down and we scored. We had 3 MAs on that, and we're fortunate they didn't bite us on that drive, but normally they will. And that's just for an example. I mean, as good as we played defensively, there was a couple of drives we got hit on some explosives that we don't want to give up. So I think that's you're in this constant. You're striving for perfection, knowing you'll never be perfect. But I think that's the name of the game here. If you want to get to where you want to go, so and look, we're gonna play some really really good teams as this season goes on, and we're gonna have to be on it. And every week these games get more and more important as you get you close in on December and January. So we got to be playing our best ball by the time we get there. But we're doing what we need to do right now to win games, and that's the important thing.
I'm sorry. You mentioned coaches and Ben Johnson, and he loses some of his pieces, his key pieces, and looks like he has more toys to play with, unloaded. Is that not a concern of yours when you're missing St. Brown and Gibbs, that Ben Johnson and his offense and Goff will be creative and come up with other ways?
No, is that a concern of mine?
Not a concern.
Anytime you lose a guy like Saint, it hurts. But that's where, look, Demo's been an excellent addition for us. I mean, he fits us. He fits us like a glove. His style of running and what he's able to do, and screen game, pass game. But man, his running style. But then, having Leaf's versatility, Leaf helps us in the slot. Laporta has come on once again. He just continues to get better and better. And so, we just spread the ball around a little bit more. And the guys, when their number gets called, they're making plays for us. And as long as that happens, as long as you start giving guys other opportunities, because you don't have a guy like Saint there, you can overcome. We were able to do that today. So look, it's a great job by Ben. I mean, the game plan was outstanding, and to me, going into this game, we needed to play outstanding defense. In my mind, defense and special teams was going to need to really set the tone today, and offense. Took advantage of those takeaways that we got. So defense set the tone, but the offense went well above and did their part. So it was just a great team win.
Did you feel you got what you wanted out of Jameson?
Yeah, look, for me, I came into this game, I think I said this is his first one back, and really last week was his first practice since he was out of the building. And so, man, I just wanted to get him back on the grass, get him lined up, get him some runs. We gave him a couple of opportunities in the pass game, and now we just grow from there. So this is all I expected. Let's get him acclimated back in, and he'll get a few more plays next week, and we'll just continue to let him grow. It was solid. I mean, he showed up on a couple of those runs in there.
I've asked you about it a few times in the last couple weeks, but Jared Jacobs, he struggled with some of those zone assignments that you guys adjusted schematically early this season. That interception was, a zone reading. So I guess the growth he's made in difficult circumstances for what he's used to.
Yeah, listen, Jerry's doing a good job. He's another guy who's really come on the last 3 weeks. But I'd say this too, that it was AG did a great job game planning this week once again, and that was a heck of a call by him too. That was a bit of a bait call, baited him into something. It was the same look as what we've been given a couple of times before, and Jerry did a great job of making it look exactly like it was, and then that throw, he adjusted to the throw. It was great. It's a great call, and it's great by Jerry. I understand what we're trying to get done.
Was there any, when you think about what happened in the Seattle game, and then the Packers game, what happened in this game, is there any validation that your message really got through after talking about, we want to be the hunters and stay aggressive and everything?
Yeah, I think I feel just like the way we played today, but even being in that, I think these guys are hungry. I just think that they smell the wins. They enjoy winning like anybody would, but they also understand what it takes to win right now and what we're doing to win these games. And so I think from that standpoint, it's just, I think they want more. I think we want more. And I think when you have that, you're always on the hunt.
A couple more guys. You had two snaps on Mosley, his knee, and Gibbs. Just he was here today. I know sometimes he got to stay home, so level of concern.
Yeah, Mosley, we'll know more tomorrow. I know on tape or out whatever the replay, it certainly didn't look good, but we won't know. We won't know a ton until we get the MRI, which will be tomorrow afternoon. Gibbs, we'll see. Didn't feel like it was awful, but it was just enough to where we felt like we needed to sit him today. So, we'll see. Take it.
Comment on the triple reverse or whatever you want to call it, what that does to the team when that works.
I just think to be able to carry those elements in our offense and have something every week is just, I think it's important, and because I think it keeps defenses on their heels. And so we've done a good job. Ben's done a good job of creating these plays. Our guys have, have done a really good job of working them during the week, which gives you the confidence to rep them. And so I just think it's part of what we do offensively. I think it helps us. It helps us on the run game. It helps us in the play pass stuff too.
You're being cautious with Gibbs. I think in your time here, you've shown caution.
Hawkinson with the drop.
Playing it safe with injury front. Is it easier to make those decisions when guys are stepping up the way they are this season?
You're talking about, you said Gibbs and the injury and just.
Any guy where he's on the fence, it seems like generally exhibit caution. But is it easier to make those decisions in caution when you got guys stepping up the way you are?
It always is. It always helps when you feel that, if we're sitting here 2 years ago, then it would probably feel a little bit different. But at the same time, you still want to do what's right for these guys. And we're in a much better position to, if you don't feel good about a guy going, I'd rather have the healthy player, And once again, the healthy player was Craig for us today. Craig did a heck of a job for us, But yeah, to answer your question, it does. It helps. It helps. And to be able to know that you don't have the full roster at your disposal and you're trying to heal some of these guys up and you're still able to get a win, it's big. It really is big.
Feels like we ask you this more guys every couple weeks. Is this the best you've seen Jared Goff play? Can you get anything more out of the quarterback than he's giving you right now?
There's always more Goff can give, and that's a great thing because he is playing at a high level right now. He's playing at a high level, and I love where his confidence is at. And we came out saying we wanted to throw this ball early in this game, and man, he was on fire. And he's taken a couple of hits here, and he bounces up off the turf, but once again, he's playing really good football for us, and we have a tremendous amount of confidence in him. So,
Throwing some heaters.
but I'm sure you ask him, of course he's got more to give, and we expect more. So we're in a great place right now with him.
Last one,
You
Jim.
played in the league, you played for this franchise. Is this your personality we're seeing in the team right now?
I think it's us collectively. I just think what we're about, our style of play, everything is. I think it's all of us. Certainly I'm proud of the way our guys are responding and playing, and the way we practice and prepare, and the coaching staff and everything. So certainly I guess I have a hand in it, but so does everybody else. So, but it was a good win for us. Let me say this. Zavala, the guard for them, sounds like, that was a good report from the hospital with him, talking, moving, and, so that's good, man, because our prayers are out with him. That's a scary moment. You don't want that for any player. I don't care who it is. So.
Thanks, guys. Locker room's open.
Okay.
All right, there you go. Classy Dan Campbell. Yeah, and that was good news. We were going to talk about that. Looks like he's got feeling back. He's under observation now. So it looks, hopefully things are okay. And Zavala will be back to face off against the non-Lions of the NFL from here. Love it. The question about, is this your personality we're seeing on the team? That was one we knew the answer before he answered that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but I think the things that we talked about before he came on, he confirmed, a lot of stuff we talked about. It's good to see a player like Jamison Williams gets his feet wet a touch, but also makes an impact, right?
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that really, I think, evaluating him before, during his draft season, his ability on special teams, it was just silly. The way he would always be the first guy down there and making tackles, and it makes you, you don't want to play it. You don't want to play your receiver like that in the NFL. You just don't want to do those kind of things. But he loves football. You don't do the things he was doing at Alabama without really, really loving the game. And you could see that today, the physicality with the way he's blocking down the field and how, he's impactful. Imagine if you're Dan Campbell right now and Brad Holmes, and this is what you put together in 3 years. And you know what I mean? Like we see the meme that's out there with him holding a dump truck full of his balls. But it has to feel like that.
It does.
Like, I would never know, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah. Let me see. We got a caller here. Hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink so far?
Hey, this is Myron. Haven't had too much to drink, but real happy for the win we got here.
I'm happy with you. What do you got for us today, my man? What do you got for us on the Lions here?
I think we got the win the way a great team gets the win, And I'd also like to kind of get at the announcers and kind of everybody around the media about this team, and I guess just not how they act toward the players or anything. Just feel like they're looking at the Dolphins, they're looking at us, these teams that have struggled, and it's just kind of annoying to watch. They kind of snicker a lot. They do a lot of snickering and a lot of, I don't know. It kind of seems like teasing a little bit.
Yeah, the thing, like when, I don't know if people heard it, but when Craig Reynolds got his touchdown, Josh came running up by the camera and he's like, "That's my brother," like Reynolds and Reynolds, right? Those guys on the field, and just I can tell you, even after the Green Bay game, there was some stuff going on with the families, because the plane was delayed. They didn't get to leave till like 5 a.m. the morning after the game. There's all kinds of stuff going on. They truly are, from the family perspective and the players themselves, a very, very close-knit group. It is a very big kind of family atmosphere amongst those people. And I think that's a part of, you talk about, I don't care about character. Give me the good players, right? I want perfect on my team because I want to win. But there's something about having your brother's back and putting it out there because of your brother. And that's a different kind of mindset that I think people undersell and undervalue. And I think we're seeing the fruits of that on this team.
Yeah, I'm a longtime fan. I'm only 23, so I've been watching them since 2010. I was 10 years old. Jim Schwartz brought me into it with Louis Delmas and Levy and Nate Burleson and Calvin Johnson, all those guys. They're kind of what won me over. And it's just, I don't know. It feels like maybe the Eagles, Patriots, Cowboys, when the media will talk about them, they talk about them with a little bit of, I guess, a little bit of respect, and with people like Dolphins, Lions, all these guys.
Hey, caller, I got to let you go, brother. Yep. We got Jared Goff on the podium. All right.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, man. All right, we'll talk to you.
Yep.
All right, get Jared Goff here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. He called it off that turnover, and I kind of looked over and smiled at him, like, man, I love it. Like, we're trying to bump them on them, which is, it's good. But yeah, we ran it against Green Bay. I can't remember if it was last year or 2 years ago. And it was the same thing. Yeah, just to Sam, wide open, and it works. Did it quite a bit in practice this week. Yeah, we worked on it. That was my first time running it in a game, though. Yeah.
Just can you talk about David too? I think back-to-back games, 100 yards and
Yeah.
guys and how important it's been for what you guys do offensively.
Yeah, he's been just as steady as it comes, and just an absolute horse for us, just that we can hand it to him. And some good looks for him today, certainly with the line, but there were some looks that weren't great that he just made something out of nothing. And when he's doing his thing, it's hard to stop us.
Missing St. Brown and Gibbs, is that a time when you and Chad maybe get together and say, we should be more creative in this game, more innovative, just to...
No, I don't think so.
No?
No, yeah, that's a good question, but I don't think that was the cause for maybe having some more creativity out there. Yeah, we had a good plan all week. Lost Gibby kind of late on Friday, and kind of had to make some minor adjustments there with him. But for the most part, it was what we were going to do all week.
Back to the direct snap, how much tinkering did that require? The snaps that were going off your leg in practice? Or?
Never hit my leg. Just the timing on what I was saying. We were snapping it on JMO, come on, like motioning him in. So when I said JMO, come on, ball got snapped. So yeah, there was a little bit of play around with when we wanted to snap it and doing that, but no, we never hit it off my leg. It was good.
What was the difference, coming out to Kansas City, big win, and then not responding great against Seattle, Packers, big win, doing what you guys did today? What was the difference in the response, I guess, coming out those two big games to be successful this time?
Yeah, I don't know if we didn't respond off the Kansas City game. I just think we got beat. They played a great game. I think we're becoming a more mature team and understanding, when we play a team that, all due respect to them, they're 0-4, and we feel like we can do some good things against. We go out and do good things against, and again, all due respect, we've been there. Like, we know what that feels like, but when we're becoming this team that we hope to be, when we play, a team that we want to get after, we got to go do it. And I thought we did a good job today. Sorry, one second. Go ahead.
Can you speak about Jameson, his first game back? Obviously, what was your impression of him?
Yeah. Yeah, might have had him for a shot there at one point down the field. That didn't pull the trigger on with a little pass rush there. But he's done a good job, man. He's done a really good job. I thought this was a great week of practice for him, and continue to get him acclimated. It's hard. He came off the ACL last year, and we expected fireworks from the get-go, and I'm saying everyone else did. We kind of knew it was going to, there's some acclimation time, and then this time it's off of suspension, and again, it takes a couple weeks. So want to keep getting him involved and want to keep working with him and finding ways to get him in space and get him the ball. And yeah, he's done a really good job though.
Dan said that he just told us that he kind of got the sense from the players preparing for today that you guys were saying, we got it, coach, relax. Is that coming from the players themselves, or is it part of his message getting through you guys, or where's that coming, that confidence?
Yeah, his messages always get through, but I think it kind of speaks to what I was just saying about like being a mature team. We've got veteran leaders on offense and defense that know what type of game we wanted to make this, and made it that type of game. It was really well done defensively, forcing a bunch of turnovers, and then us capitalizing off it. But yeah, we're a focused group, and I think we know what it takes every week.
You've been one of the best teams in the NFL on first down, just the yardage you're producing. You took several shots on first down in this game. When you had that full playbook open to you, and opponents know you have that full playbook open to you on first down, what does that do, I guess, for the?
Yeah, it makes it hard for them. Certainly, I know we've been good on first down. I know we've been good in the first quarter, and that's hard on defenses. So, yeah, we can run it, we can pass it, we can throw screens, we can do kind of anything right now, and it's been good for us.
I was going to say, you can run, you can pass. It's almost evenly split. People look for identities. You're not a passing team. You're not a running team necessarily. What are you?
We're a good team. Yeah, and offensively, I think it's exactly that. We're very multiple and can do kind of a little bit of everything.
Couple more guys.
I'm sorry, say that again? Yeah, obviously very passionate, and you guys see him every day. He's very passionate, cares about us, leads by example, is kind of the, heartbeat, moral compass of our team, and is our leader. Yeah. Yeah, keep going. be the person you want to be every day. It's hard. It's really it is hard, and I know where he's at, and but there's only you know what will happen if you go the other way. It won't be good. So be the person you want to be every day in the building, and represent yourself the right way, and continue to chop wood, and it will turn if you do. If you work hard enough, one day it'll turn. But yeah, I wish him the best, and think he's got a bright future.
We've seen Aiden make some pretty ridiculous catches early.
Yeah.
That one-hand stab was something else. He could maybe work on to a goal line.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. Yeah, he's got good hands, and his instincts are really good. I think that's what makes that play so special. Is he understands the screen, he knows where the ball's going to be thrown, and he kind of, in some ways, probably baited him into throwing it, like daring him to try to fit it in there, and made a great play. And he's a difference maker for us, man. And it's fun to have him.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, there we go. Jared Goff, the man. Goff is the guy.
He clearly is. And I mean, at this point in time, he's winning games for them. Pay him. Right? Like, I mean, it's amazing that in 2 years I went from please draft somebody to replace him. And you know this. I know you're very gentle and kind for not, bringing this up every time we talk. But it's amazing how much growth there is in his game in the little time he's been here. It's amazing.
It's one of the things. I don't, because there's if I would spend all day dogging people for dogging on Goff, right? Because everybody was out on him, and I was like, you could see, look, every time he's had a bad year, there's something around him as that you can point to say, well, kind of, and if everybody would have had a bad year with that situation or those circumstances, right? And I'm like,
sure.
when those things were gone, when you pulled those away, he was a really, really good quarterback. And that's what I just kept seeing through. And you could tell he had it. But the other part is he's absolutely grown. Like, the one thing I think that the best thing that has happened to him is Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson and helping him get his head straight, because he is very much in his head. His head is his own limiter, right? That's where I think the
for
ceiling
sure.
for Jared
But
Goff is.
a lot of it's his own. It's like his own growth as a player. Like, I don't think Sean McVay allowed him any opportunity to grow as a player and learn.
Right.
And the Lions have done the exact opposite. No, we're gonna feed you this information, and you're gonna have to digest it and figure it out. And he has.
Yep.
So it is the untold story about where they are right now. Is Jared Goff as a player when the trade was made to today, and the leap is fairly remarkable. It really is. One real quick thing about the wide receiver blocking and why it matters. So teams that want to run the ball down your throat the way the Lions do, essentially what they're trying to do to simplify it is they're trying to add a blocker in the box. It's just numbers. So if a defense has 6 players in the box, the Lions are going to come up at them with at least 6 blockers to everybody's got their assignment, and then the running back can kind of weave his way through. A lot of times it's more than that, where you want to bring an extra player in the box and create a double team. Now, when you do that, that means you're at a disadvantage outside, and that's where your wide receivers have to step up and become good blockers to spring the big plays, the explosive plays. If the wide receivers don't block, you don't get explosive plays out of this kind of running attack. But if they do, boom, we see Montgomery's touchdown earlier today.
Yeah.
You see the long run. And that's all created based on adding players inside the box and getting some blocking at the second level outside the box and explosive, huge run. And I would tell you, everybody can do this. Go back to last year, and if you find a game where they have a 15 or a 20-yard run or catch from a running back, tell me if it's a win or a loss. And I think every one of them, you're going to see that they win games when they get a splash play out of their ground game. That's kind of where it is.
Yeah.
And that's what's so intriguing about where they are is they're going to keep doing this. Teams are not going to be able to stop this.
All right, I'm watching the presser. I think there's somebody that's going to pop up, but I've got the phones hanging off the hook. I'm just going to go ahead and grab a call here really quick. Let's see what we got. Hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink so far?
What up, though? It's Mo from the Creek, baby. What's good?
Mo from the Creek, the first time this year. It took 4 wins to get you to call?
Hey, man, I've been high off my ass, every week with these wins, so I'm finally sober and ready to talk to you.
I got to get up to Michigan. Oh, man. Oh, man.
What's up, man? It's good to be a part of this winning franchise.
It's new, that's for sure. Anything new tends to be fun, man. But it's always good when we got Mo from the Creek calling us talking about it.
I was out in Vegas last week with on the guys trip, and a bunch of Steelers fans was out there because we're playing the Raiders, and I had my Lions gear on, and my friend was like, "Man, you getting more love than me," and I got the Steelers jersey on. It's like everywhere you go with a Lions jersey, you just getting mad love. It's so weird.
soak it up, because there's 2 things that are going to happen. Well, there's a couple. When this team does it, when this team wins, right? And I encourage this. Be that arrogant, gloating ass. Enjoy the hell of it. Be that person that everyone hates. You earned it. If you've been a Lions fan for this long, you earned it. So go do it. Have fun with it. And it's going to happen. A whole bunch of people are going to do it, whether you do or not. So you might as well just be part of it, enjoy it. And then the next year, all that love that you felt from people, it's going to be gone. People are going to hate the Lions. Right. Those fans are assholes. Right. It happens to everybody, right? So just you're going to get it whether you're an asshole or not. So just be the asshole, get credit for what you do.
Right. We get on that train, baby. Yeah. Hop on the bandwagon. I got the caboose ready. Hey, man, I'll be in Tampa next week for the game. So I'm expecting to come to your tailgate.
You be there. It's lot 4. I'll have like a brown kind of Coleman thing. We're trying to put something, get a group of people together. A lot of people are coordinating in our Slack, getting together. We got a guy talking about bring out the grill, some dogs, some other stuff going on. The only thing I have to tell people is when we gather where I'm at, I've got to pack up. I've got to go in like right as things open up, because we got some stuff going on down at the Ray J there that some coverage stuff. So watch our streams. We'll be doing a lot of that, folks. But yeah, for sure. Lot 4 is where we'll be.
Lot 4.
Yep,
okay. Yep. What time are you guys getting in? What time everything open up?
I don't know what time, but as soon as it opens, I'm going to be there. I got the Friday and the Monday off, because I know it's going to be a real weekend.
Right. Right. I want Ray J to be so blue. Buck fans like, what the hell? I thought this was a home game.
I tell you what, for an away game, Tampa is one of the best places to go, just because there's so many transplants here from around that they're used to just seeing other people, and it's not like you're gonna be catching D batteries like in Philly. It's not like you're gonna get shot like in Dallas, right? I mean, you can have fun. You can have a really, really good time. So come down, have fun, but be cool. The one thing, just a couple things. Fans today at Ford Field, you guys rocked. Great job. The noise. I couldn't even hear the officials talking on TV. That was awesome. Right. But do it. Come down, celebrate. Let's go Lions. Last time the Tampa played here, we had the chant going. Could hear it on TV. It was awesome. Do that again. Have fun, but just be respectful. Have fun. Do your thing. Celebrate. Just don't be the people that start fights. Don't be those people. Please have fun and enjoy it, because it's a great place. I know you won't, Mo. Mo, you're too high to start a fight, man. You ain't doing anything. But I'm talking about everybody else.
I'll be so chill on edibles. I just say, just be so cool, baby. It's all good. Cool, man. I will see you next Sunday, brother.
All right, be good, Mo. Looking forward to seeing you. All right, we'll see you.
All right, catch you later.
Ciao. Man, it's so good. The happiness. It's so good to be a Lions fan.
I don't recall it ever being like this post game. I just don't remember.
Yeah.
It used to be kind of filled with emotions the other way.
It was so much about trying to find a little bit of therapy and trying to find the good in the disaster that we just watched unfold, right? I don't think I've ever done 4 games, 4 wins, 3 wins in a row as post-game shows. I'm in uncharted territory. Hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink?
Hey, Chris, first time caller, long time listener. This is Rob.
Happy to have you, Rob.
Hey, a couple of things, and I may be wrong about this, but I think Dan and Brad have put together kind of an island of misfit toys. Sure they picked some first round picks and such, but a lot of the guys either they've been disrespected or they've always had some kind of trauma or something they've had to obstacles to overcome. And, like Kaminsky and, all these guys and Goff, and they've turned them into just this team of people with a huge chip on their shoulder, and they are crashing and killing everybody. And I'm here for all of it. And also, you can go ahead and comment.
Yeah. I'll just say it's one of those things. I mean, and Lions fans have had it for far, far too long. But I talked to my son about it. Right? If it's great all the time, that just means great is okay, and you don't appreciate the good times. And Lions fans are on this run right now where we can appreciate good times, but that kind of coming back from adversity builds resiliency. You cherish the good times more. You understand what it takes to get to those good times, and that's the desire to get a hold of that. So you take guys. Jerry Jacobs is that exact story, and we saw it. I mean, we were the first ones talking to him and talking about him when he came on as a UDFA. He barely made the team. We had him on right after the day after this, or it was the night the schedules. The 53 man was announced, and he made it, and we celebrated together. He's a guy who's had just an uphill battle his whole life. He was so happy. He's like, I'll do whatever they want. I'll play special teams. I'll dig ditches up. I don't care. Right. I'm here to do whatever it takes. And then people went down. They got hurt. And here's a guy who was a UDFA, barely made the team. He was starting that year just through injury. And that was the year of the land of misfit toys. But we found out that the baby new year with the big ears, when he take his hat off, the guy can kick a field goal, right? And the doll without an eye, I forget all the different toys, and I'm trying to draw this I don't remember the movie well enough, but all these broken toys came out, and all of a sudden they had great skills, the things we needed them to do. And we found gems that likely on most teams never would have had of an opportunity to even play. And I think we've taken off that veneer of misfit toys and said, we've just been able to dig out the gems and find those really, really good players. And they all come from, as you said, that space where they've had to build resiliency the hard way and understand what tough and what bad is like and how good they have it. And they want to feel that way permanently. Bish, do you concur? Anything you want to add to that?
I mean, it's spot on. It's 3 years ago, they were kind of building up from a pretty down time. I mean, if you look at this is remarkable. If you look at what the Lions roster was at the end of the Quinn Patricia era, and how quickly they turned things around. And we all talked openly about how coaching is different, and they understand how to deploy these guys because they've all played. And yeah, some of these guys might have some weaknesses here and there, but they're playing them to their strengths. There's some of that with this group that, they're being coached well, that they're being used in a position to allow them to make plays, but they're also accumulating a crazy amount of talent too. We've talked about Gibbs and Campbell as first round picks, but missing Brian Branch today, it's a big deal. And I know that today is not a great example because everything was a little bit, let's just keep everything in front of us today.
Yep.
Because, what did Thielen have? Like 11 catches, kind of needed to, but they were all underneath stuff. Yep. And that, it's smart. It's, hey, go ahead and catch that 5-yard pass. We're cool. Well, it's 3rd and 15. Well, we'll come up and you're going to punt. But yeah, 3 years ago, it did feel like that. And I think they're adding some shiny, really pretty toys to go along into the mix, but they're not losing the mentality of, you have to earn everything that steps in front of you. You have to do your job. You have to make plays. You said it a lot better than I did. You did
No,
a good job.
but
I should have just said ditto. Ditto.
No, but
Yeah.
but it is that, and the shiny toys they're adding are good. I was a little bit concerned, and I didn't voice it too much about CJGJ and kind of where he was at, because he had an expectation. I was like, that's kind of beyond it doesn't fit with the hungry Lions, right? It fits with the Lions who've done that. And we kept hearing Campbell talk about, we haven't done anything yet. We kept hearing that, right? But when it came down, and I'm definitely sad CJGJ isn't there, but when it came down to it, he had the right attitude, especially for that secondary, because those guys and the way they play and the types of stuff they play, they absolutely have to understand that they are there, and they are him. They are the ones. And I was a little bit wrong about that. I'm glad I didn't vocalize it until now, but yeah, that's where I'm at. So what was your second thing there, caller?
Oh, well, the other thing is that, I've been a fan since Mel Farr first became a superstar back in '67. And, when the Lions win big, I'm not going to be an ass, but I'm going to get my revenge, and I'm going to rub some noses in it. And I tell you, we used to watch the Sunday morning shows, and if they would just show a clip of a nice pass to Megatron or something, it's like, oh, you made my day. And if they just wouldn't talk smack about the Lions, okay, it was good. And now, we expect to see at least 3 minutes, and they better say something nice. But there's still a sideways dig. I mean, before the Packers game, they're still saying, oh, is Detroit ready for the big game? I mean, come on. We just did it in Kansas City, and we're still getting that Goff. So I'm going to be rubbing some noses in it for sure. And I'm going to be carrying this for a long time, because we've suffered long enough. And so, yeah, I'm not going to be taking any guff from anybody. And God bless Ash and everybody else, Gray, and all the guys from the DLP, just like the Lions. You guys have really stepped up this year, and I'm here for all of it. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you, man. That's very, very kind of you. And yeah, there's a lot going on. We got Bish and Brown, their show coming out this week, On Track weekly show. It's a great show. It's great to add another long form kind of show to the lineup, and then all the stuff that Gray and Ash's daily stuff. I love the content. Like, for me, editing it, I've loved just watching it. It's been so cool just to be able to kind of watch everybody create this stuff. It's incredible.
It's nice to be a part of it too, because it doesn't feel we're all fans, right? Like, we're all, I mean, I'm wearing this, and I feel weird, right? But but I'm a Lions fan. I'm 53, and it's been forever. And like I mentioned earlier, my kids are at a point where I am so happy for them that they're gonna get to see this for a while with this group. I'm excited for them, and it's the whole thing is just super cool. It's cool to be a part of. Chris, everything you're doing is just with allowing us to be able to voice our opinions about things that are going on, especially for like us draft guys. Like, I mean, it's a really cool. It's cool for it to be safe and just like, all right, let's talk about all these groups of players or whatever it is. It's a cool thing to be a part of. Thank you. It's awesome.
No, I appreciate you guys. I love it. I love, like, for me, I told you from the beginning, right? Like, what do you think of that? I'm like, I kind of don't want to tell you, because I want you to be you. I don't want you to be me, or I don't want to influence. And that's the one thing I tell everybody is just tell them, you don't have to agree with me. You can tell me Goff's not the guy. I'm not going to get mad at you. I'm not going to, whatever. I want conflicting opinions. I really do. I want a wide view of different views on the team and what's happening, what's working, what's not, because that's what makes good content, right? I mean, that's what makes a good balanced approach to what you're getting. So I love it. The one thing that, people have heard me, there's too much talking amongst friends in the beat room. There's too many people talking, hey, we probably didn't cover that right. No. That's you're colluding on the stories and the narrative together. That's not journalism. That's not news. That's I don't like that. So I just want the diversity of thought and opinion to be shared, and let people draw their own conclusions from that. Hey, caller, what's your name?
Yeah, there's something here for everybody too.
Yeah.
It's everybody can find something here where they could say, yeah, I like Michael. He's a smart guy, and that Bischoff guy, I don't know so much about him. Which is right. Like, yeah, I get it.
Hey, caller, what's your name and how much you had to drink? Oh.
What up, though? It's Malcolm from the A, man. How you doing, baby?
Malcolm, how you doing, man? Good to see you, hear you.
Man, I cannot wait to toast and break bread with you this weekend, man. It's going to be polar bear meet grizzly bear, getting the band back together. So thank you for hosting us down there in Tampa, man. Looking forward to kicking it with you and the crew and all the fans that's coming through. Real quick, man, I just wanted to dovetail on what Scott was saying about you. Man, you have built an amazing platform for us as fans through the lean years. You helped guide us through. You helped us think differently. You helped put us in a position as people who followed this journey with you to actually be able to process, receive, and understand what the team is doing now and why it's successful. You've given us perspective, and I just wanted to give you some flowers, man, for being a leader, being the type of person who people want to gather around. And you can see that, Chris, because you've created a network now where all of these awesome people are coming out of the woodwork and just continuing to pour in. You see the love we got on the phone lines, man. So, flowers to you, man. Shouts to you. Really appreciated you, man, getting to know you a little bit. It's been a blessing. And thank you for all that you do.
Well, thank you, Malcolm. I appreciate it. Now, just we're having steaks together in Tampa, so Malcolm he's on the take here. Let's not get too full of ourselves here, okay?
Oh, Chris, they don't know what you got to do when we get home to the crib, man. So I was just, we're not gonna pull that out there, man. That's grown folks' business. But hey, man, it's great to be 2-0 again. It was rare when you and I were growing up with Michigan and the Lions would win on the same weekend. We're getting that pretty regularly now. Love what I saw out the boys. I'm going to be honest with you, man. I was nervous when I saw how many guys were gone, especially Branch. I love me some Brian Branch, man. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, are we going to be able to hold it together? Not even a concern. I'm really impressed with the way AG and the boys came out. And this is where I wanted to kind of engage Scott a little bit. Bro, I don't want to put you on the spot because you haven't had a chance to look at the A22, but perhaps when you and Brown get together this week, you could talk a little bit about what AG did differently this week to keep Bryce in the pocket. I didn't see as many stunts and stuff. And there were a couple times where I felt like we were kind of falling back into some of that soft zone stuff when we allowed Carolina to move the ball when we were up 14. And then it seems like they closed the door again because here comes the pressure, here comes the movement. So, when you guys go back over the tape, man, I love if you got any instant reactions now or down the line, just to see how maybe you saw AG make some quick adjustments, because it felt like we might be letting Young get a little confidence before we shut the door on him defensively.
Well, I think one of the things that I would think as a takeaway from that is they didn't allow their defensive ends. The Lions' defensive ends didn't get too wide, and they didn't get too far up the field to allow Young to kind of step up, right? So I don't want to call it contain, because contain is kind of what they did against Kansas City and a lot of what they did against Seattle, because they got pressure today on him. But they absolutely were pretty consistent with how far they got up the field and not getting widened out by Carolina's tackles. So I would say that, from a pass rush perspective, that's kind of what the plan was to kind of keep Young in the pocket, not allow him to step up. Because if you think about him at Alabama, one of his strengths was he would always step up because it was clean and then make super accurate throws down the field. Mm-hmm. And the Lions didn't really allow him to do that today. They just kind of kept him where he was. That's my only thought.
That point, man, but I'm sorry.
No, go. You're good.
No, I was just going to say, I love your point, man, because on Hutch's sack, I was telling my boys in our chat, he rushed just enough after he got chipped. He timed that spin back inside perfectly, right when he felt like Bryce was going to start stepping up and shut the door on him, man. So I love that insight from you, because you saw be in control, matching rush, with what's going on the back end, making Bryce take that extra beat, allow Hutch to get in there and create that pressure. And even on the sack that Okora got, it was a little bit of the same type of work. Guys just keep working back, tracking back, and took care of business, man. So that's good insights.
Yeah, they were kind of like stalking him, and you know, if he was prey kind of thing. Like, we know where he's going to go and what he wants to do. And I don't know how many spin moves back inside Hutchinson did today. It was too many, but there's a reason why, because he was pushing the tackle vertical, and then he was kicking back inside because he knew that's where Bryce Young was going to go to. So that, you know, I think that's smart football. It just is.
There you go.
Nah, man, I love it. Chris, thanks again, man. Looking forward to seeing you this weekend. Scott, love it as always, man, and go Lions.
All right, 7:30 reservation at Charlie's. We'll see you there, brother.
You already know. You already know, baby.
All right, we'll talk to you. All right, Malcolm. Let's see here, we got another caller. Let's get the caller on. Hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you did drink so far?
Chris, your man down the Ozarks. How you doing?
How you doing, my man? Did you clean those people out? Did you take over the drug trade now that series is over? Is that what's happened down there with the Ozarks, Brandon?
Well, what I've done is I used all that money, bought every commish jersey I can find.
I'll go with that. Yeah, I'll allow that. How you doing, brother? Good game. I mean, look, we've been through some tough times. You've been a caller for many years. You've been with us for the long haul here, brother, and it's good to be able to call in such bright times, man.
Oh my goodness,
Brandon, how are you?
Have we ever?
What's happening?
I mean, hello.
Hey,
you guys there?
Yeah, we're here. We got you, brother.
Oh, hey. Oh, okay. Scott saying hi. I'm sorry I didn't catch you right quick, but
it's all good.
Man, I tell you what, this is unbelievable. We are actually doing what really, really good teams do: play close, hard games against like teams such as Kansas City and the Seahawks, and just trounce rookie quarterbacks and building teams. I mean, I got a few figures here. Let me show you this. I put them in the chat, but you probably just missed them because, well, everybody and their brothers in the chat. So, but do you realize the last 3 games against rookie or sophomore quarterbacks like Ritter, Love, and Young, 13 sacks, 4 interceptions, and 3 forced fumbles. And I did not tally up how many points we got off of that, but you know how many we did today. It was just unreal.
A 40
burger.
This
is the kind of stuff that this is the kind of stuff that we dreamed of with Stafford and the teams we used to have, and of course nightmares with Millen because we was always on the other end of that. But
let me ask you something, Brandon.
Let me ask you guys.
I want to ask you a question first, okay? Because this is a question I asked in the very, 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 very beginning. People looked at me like I had lobsters crawling out of my ears. At what point do we say that Jared Goff is a better Detroit Lions quarterback than Matthew Stafford? Is it winning a playoff game? Is that the bar?
I would say so, but it also might be he's even up right now. There's no doubt about it. And if they wind up winning more than 11 games, because that's the best that Stafford ever did, he won 11 with Caldwell, and a whole lot of them, remember, were come from behind victories, and he had a very, very good defense with Sue and company.
Mm-hmm.
If they beat out 11 wins and then not just get into playoffs, but obviously get a home game, I would say so, even if they might lose it, which I don't think they will, man. I just don't think they will.
This is my barometer for where Lions fans are, because I asked that, like I said, early, and people were like, no way. And I was always, it's so hard to be the guy after the guy, right? To step into the Detroit Lions as a quarterback against the guy who's got more records than anyone since Bobby Lane, right? I mean, it's like, how do you now come in and take that role? And God, has Goff like just exceeded expectations. So I just keep checking, see how people feel, because there was no way people thought nobody could ever be better than Stafford. And I'm starting to feel a shift in the timeline from folks right now. Okay, go ahead and ask your question. I'm sorry, I didn't want to sideline you there.
It is now, I sent you a private message, and I want to see what Scott thinks about this. Do you see A lot of folks, especially other fans of other teams, are going to really just say scoff at this. But I think Goff is showing everything there is that Joe Montana was in the beginning of the 49ers team and their great run. He is unflappable. So cool. Doesn't throw risky throws. Just plays within himself, plays within the team, and the team just simply keeps on getting better and better and better. I mean, look at we had a couple of big-time players out. No big deal. Just throw it to somebody else, and they'll catch it and run with it. What do you guys think?
So it's a tough thing. I mean, it's like, it's Joe Montana, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's hard to think of things in those terms.
It's the same it is, like I said, at the beginning of his career, nobody thought he was a third-round pick. Nobody thought much of him. And nobody thought much of Bill Walsh either, because I think they wanted him fired after the first year or two. But here you go. I mean, it's hard to gauge because, like you said, we're only at the beginning of this. But what if we wind up with 5 more years, a bunch of playoff appearances, and possibly a Super Bowl appearance, and maybe even a win? Now, that might
then
be,
it will be
in different levels.
Well, I think that if that comes to pass, the Lions made the greatest trade, one of the greatest trades in NFL history, if this is what comes to pass, by moving Stafford at when they did, bringing in Goff, getting the multiple firsts. I understand what you're saying. I think we do need to kind of just slow a touch with where we are offensively. There, as the season wears on, you're going to play more important games. You're going to play games where he does have to deal with pressure and like snap in and snap out pressure where he doesn't have time, to be comfortable. And then we're really going to see, right? But I think to this point, this year, obviously the huge stretch last year, he has played at an incredibly high level. My youngest, just bust my balls over and over and over about Goff. And I'm telling you, I hear it, fairly regular, and it's deserved. Jared Goff deserves every bit of credit that's coming to him, and he deserves every dime that's coming to him for the way he's playing and the way he handles himself. He's got just enough of that brash cockiness to be perfect at it. Like, the comment to Fitzpatrick after the Packers game.
Yep.
Like just enough of that swagger to kind of back up his play. He's there, and I think he's feeling it. So I mean, we should be happy. We should be happy that Jared Goff is the Lions quarterback right now because he's playing at a level that we haven't seen in a long time. I certainly think there's more consistency to his game than there was with Stafford. And for what the Lions do offensively and defensively, that's important.
In fact, he's done better than any of Stafford's stretches. I mean, remember that one year when they went 5-0? Well, after Travis Best went down, they didn't even have a 500 record. They were 5-6. So even with all the stats and all the touchdowns and all that, this guy is outperforming because he's a lot more balanced. The offense is more balanced, and the defense is just playing out of their minds now. There's 2 things did you gulp when Hutch came off kind of limping after that hit on his hip? And I'm hoping Mosley, there is nothing wrong with him, man. I hope it's just a slight thing, not nothing major when it comes to his knee. What do you guys think on that?
We're waiting and hoping.
Waiting and hoping, but not expecting good news. Not expecting good news with Mosley.
Yeah.
And I hope I'm wrong.
So sad, but I am too. Third quarter, they had 2 drives and had to punt. I almost wonder though, and when they jump on them and get up so high, the defense, all it does is just makes them have grinding long drives that eats up a lot of time, because come fourth quarter, they just ratchet it up again and just put the game out of reach with these kind of teams. So I'm going to ask you this question. I'll go ahead, get out here. Next two quarterbacks, we have a veteran Bryce Young in that he's nothing but a jitterbug there in Tampa. And then we also got to go play Lamar in Baltimore. But Lamar and the Ravens can be beat because the Steelers just did them in this week. I'll see what you guys think, and I'll get out of here, and let's have some fun this week. Take care, guys.
Dang right. Thank you, Brandon. Big bunch of questions about what about the market for OC and DC next year. And I'll say right now, I think Ben Johnson stays. I think
you have an inside track there that nobody else does. So I'm going to defer to you on. I hope he does. I really do.
I think he does. And I'm not going to talk out of school. I'm not going to, there's a lot of connections, a lot of stuff that go on there.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, we're in a place where, historically in the NFL, head coaches, all 55 and up, they're all AARP members before they're a head coach, right?
Yeah.
I mean, effectively that's how it goes. We're in this new era. McVay kind of broke the window on this, having the young kind of stud coach, right? And everybody started going, "Oh, we got to do that," and freaked out for it. But one of the things to look at is Matt Nagy, and it's not because Matt Nagy wasn't a great coach, okay? But he wasn't. But it was Chicago too. When things were going bad in Chicago, and his son was playing high school football, the absolute shit that his son took because of his dad's job, it's absolutely horrific, right? Now, folks that don't have kids probably don't understand this as much, but when you have a kid, there is nothing in the world that you will protect more. There's nothing you'll stand in front of a falling boulder to protect that kid. These young coaches are all of that age where they have those young kids. McVay's different, right? He wasn't married. There was no kids involved.
Yeah.
Ben's got a daughter who wore her Lions gear when things were up in the air this offseason. She wouldn't take off her Lions jersey for a week. She would not take that jersey off. All her friends, her school, everything else is here, right? There's families, there's connections, and teams and families have connections. But when you have a kid and you have things going on, there's other players, their kids play sports, right? And these are coaches who were, we're all player coaches. Their kids are talented, athletic, gifted people who very likely may play sports
with
that
futures.
that you don't want to unseat in the midst of all that either, and throw everything spinning on their future. Yes, there's a bag of money in being a head coach. There's also massive headaches, even longer hours, more pain in the ass media. Your life isn't your own ever, even in the off season. There's so many downsides to the head coaching thing that being a coordinator, there's a lot to love about that for guys that age. And I think there's a lot of that stuff that plays into it. And the Lions are not afraid to pay their coaches money to hold on to them and keep them in the spaces they want. So that's just kind of where I'm at for the Lions and Ben. It could very well change as the year goes on. His mind may change, but my belief and my understanding right now is he's not going anywhere. He's not looking to go anywhere.
So I mean, does he want to be a head coach? Do we even know that he? I mean, I know he's interviewed and that kind of stuff, but and it wouldn't make sense for somebody who's an OC to not want to take the next logical step in his football path. But that doesn't mean that this particular guy does. We don't know. We have no idea. All we do know is that this is a really stable place for him to be, with a very stable group of coaches, stable franchise, great GM. It's very clear that Brad Holmes is going to do what he needs to do to bring players in. It wouldn't surprise me if that happened this year. If there was a move that nobody really sees coming, that they bring in to bolster this offense. Let's say a wide receiver, perhaps a wide receiver who plays in Las Vegas, kind of thing. Yeah, I mean that is possibly something that could happen. And think about that. Like, why would you want to move on and coach for? Name me 3 or 4 destinations where they're going to need a new coach.
Yeah.
Those are all
not
bad
San Diego.
teams.
The Chargers is probably the one place where you could land. But the thing is every year there's a bunch of bad teams, but there's a team that's decent, right? Where you could take a leap with. But that's the same every year. You can choose if you're
going to the Chargers, you're dealing with a family that has no interest in winning football games. They just don't. So, he would have to really examine that. Like, what kind of a commitment is there financially and otherwise that's different than being in Detroit? And why do I want to go sully my reputation and go be a head coach and fail somewhere when if I stay here and succeed, I'll be a head coach anyway?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
you can pick your spot.
Yeah.
Take the wins, take the Super Bowls, build out the team, right? And have fun with the people that you love while your family grows, while you get to a point where it's like, okay, now I'm AARP member, the kids are off at college or whatever. Now I can make right. And when you start connecting folks together that are in a very similar spot, because like when Ben goes, he's going to take one person with him, right? And the person he wants to take has got to be kind of in that same spot to want to go. I just don't know that any of them are ready to do that. So I believe that we're gonna have our for a long time. Johnson Power. That's Scatterbrain, Bish. Scatterbrain. I don't know if you remember them. They were a great fun band from the I think it was the 90s, early 90s.
I don't recall them, but I don't recall a lot of things. So
from the early 90s.
Really matter.
All right, let's grab a call here. Hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink?
Oh, my name's Brandon. I'm from the UP, and I probably had too many.
That's what we love. Can you turn down your computer just a little bit?
I'm sorry, what?
Can you turn down the background because we can hear ourselves? It's echoing back at us.
Oh, okay. One second.
Appreciate it.
Is that better?
That's got it, man. Thank you.
All right.
So what do you got for us, big guy?
Well, I just want to say, living up here in the Upper Peninsula, it's Packer country.
Yeah.
And if we keep on winning like this, I've been telling all my Packer buddies, you're going to learn what the definition of insufferable is.
I love
it. A couple colors back, I'm not going to rub it in their faces too hard. Oh, I am.
Absolutely. That is absolutely how to do it, especially with Packers fans. You know, it's been talked about how unfair it is to have a pair of Hall of Fame quarterbacks like that, like they've been able to indulge in. Probably, I'm guessing most of those folks they don't even know who Mike Tomczak is or ever had to experience the Mike Tomczak years of the Packers. But those are some of my favorite Packers years.
Yeah. The other thing I'd like to comment on is how much nicer the Packer fans are in Green Bay.
I've actually heard that Lambeau's a good place to go see to do an away game. That they're actually pretty decent at that.
I went there last January, last game of the year, and I think I probably got 100 compliments on my Barry Sanders jersey.
There you go. Now I'm going to tell you that's very likely to change when we start smoking their hole like we've continued to do lately. So if you're a Lions fan, you kind of want to go to the historical place to see the Lions go beat on the Packers. I would recommend doing it in the next year or two because they're going to get ugly really fast when they quit winning.
I think being in the UP, he has to be surrounded by ugly Packer fans already. It has to be insufferable and just awful. I know a few people up in the UP who have told me that. Like, it's just awful walking around. Like, you don't even want to wear your Lion stuff because you don't want to hear it. And now, dude, put that stuff on and be like a peacock, man. You should. Really.
Oh, I've worn this stuff the whole time. but now it just feels right.
Oh man,
Good for you.
Well, brother, thank you for calling from the UP. Thank you for listening. Appreciate you. Stay strong up there. You can flip those people. They're obviously not very smart, so you can probably get them to change teams pretty quick once we start winning.
Oh, trust me, half of them already did. They follow the winning teams.
Awesome, Brandon. Thank you so much for calling, brother.
Thank you, Chris.
Awesome, man. That's cool. I love it. I love it. This is joy, man. Like this, I love the celebrations. 4-1. Let's talk about the schedule ahead really quick, and we'll see. We'll take a couple more callers here as we go on, and then we'll close it out. So if you got a call, you can squeeze it in. It's there right there on the screen. 248-782-8384. Finished out. We got the win over the Panthers. We've got Tampa next week, which is going to be a good game. They've had a bye this week.
Yeah.
And get a little bit healthier. It's early to have to worry about getting healthy, but that's where they are. And it's in Tampa. Then we have to play the Ravens. But as Don Burr said, Kenny Pickett just beat the Ravens. We damn sure can. So we got the Ravens coming up, and then the Raiders on Monday night. Then we get our bye week. Then it's Chargers, Bears, Packers, Saints, Bears, Broncos, Vikings. It's like I'm feeling pretty good about this streak of games. And then Dallas. But it's the end of the season. Dallas is usually in full meltdown mode by that point. And then the Vikings again. I mean, we've got, I think we had the fourth most difficult schedule through the first 4 weeks. And then the second lightest schedule for the rest of the season. As of right now,
yeah,
Mr. Bischoff, things bode well for these Detroit Lions.
Yeah, and this is so I talked about this on the Bishop Brown one 2 weeks ago. When I did solo, where I almost felt like a jackass lecturing everybody how they were going to have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching the game against Green Bay, and I feel that in the third quarter, I feel this creeping, gnawing feeling like, well, you just told everybody not to fall prey to that, and here you are, like, get it together, right? So we are. As Lions fans, it's going to get more difficult, and only not in a bad way, but the games are going to get more meaningful. The Lions are going to play very meaningful games this season, more meaningful than they've played in a very long time. We have to get comfortable with just what that means, right? So, a Thursday night game at Green Bay isn't all that relevant anymore.
Let me flip
going
that
forward,
on you. Let me flip that on you.
Yeah.
We could be at a point where we're playing meaningless games in December and January because we've got the division.
See, I'm talking playoff. I'm not talking end of the regular season.
Okay,
I'm talking.
Okay, I get it.
I'm thinking like you could be hosting a playoff game at home, and it's so uncomfortable in week 5.
Mm-hmm.
They're 4-1 to be thinking like that. Like, I feel like I'm going to walk out of the office and my wife is going to drill me with a 2x4 for saying that. Like, what are you talking? Like, I can't believe you just said they were going to be hosting a playoff game, but look at that schedule, right? I mean, I think that you could roll into Tampa and win that game.
Yeah,
if they play well, they'll beat Tampa in Tampa.
Yep. Oh yeah. Tampa's
There's no reason they can't beat Baltimore.
No.
Right? They're going to beat Vegas on Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
My guess is they're 6-2 range at the halfway point. Like, okay, I mean, that's nuts to think about, though. But I think that's kind of where we are. Like, we need to embrace this. They're doing special things. They really are.
Yeah. No, this is so. My heart. I'm feeling like the concept of meaningless games in December with a smile on our face. That's the thing that's crazy to me. It's always been meaningful game. We need meaningful games in December, but those are always the sweaty palm gripping, sitting on the edge of your sofa saying, please make it in, please make it in. Like we watched the Carolina game last year, right? And it was like, oh, please. Oh God, it was devastating. But we lose to Dallas on December 3rd. I'm just pulling that one out of a hat. All right, who cares? We already won the division. We already got home field sealed up. Who cares? Like, it's meaningless, right? We sat our players. Like, Never even had the concept in my head. Never even had that concept in my head.
My youngest and my wife and I are going to New Orleans for the December 3rd game. And we have openly talked about, hey, this could be kind of that'll be an important game. They could be potentially doing some crazy things that early in the season. They really could. I mean, there's no reason to think that they won't be in a position to really, kind of lock things up.
Yeah.
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 Who knows? But it's nuts to think about. But, Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes, everybody involved in what they're doing, they all deserve tons of credit. They got crushed for paying Montgomery and letting Jamal Williams go. And you get smoked on day one of the draft for the positions that you took. And then on day two, you get, what looks to be a pretty premium tight end in a league starved for those guys. Doing it as a rookie, which is unheard of. My guess is he's probably number one in NFL history as a tight end through 5 games production-wise, which is just like, huh? I don't know if we talked about this, but the Brian Branch injury was so there was such a kind of a cast a pall over things. Like, that's how important a player this guy is already.
Yeah.
That this ankle, what we all thought might have been an Achilles last week, obviously it's not, and it's great news that it wasn't. But like, think about, this is a 2nd round pick, a steal, who's playing to this level already, and you have Hendon Hooker that nobody's talking about in a position to just kind of grow as a player. They're doing incredible things. They deserve, they're not infallible. They're not perfect, but it's football. Nothing is, they're doing an incredible job as decision makers, as coaches. They really are. They deserve more credit than I think has been given to them. I know that they have fans and there's detractors and all that stuff, but I think they've done an incredible job. And, this is a super positive, happy post game. It should be. Games like today are games that we haven't had for a long time. Like, these kind of mail it in. This was super easy, whatever. It's cool. Yeah. It's an easy game,
The other thing that can happen by December is we can get to that place where we expect it, right? Where it isn't like, because we're still convincing ourselves that the third quarter isn't going to be a problem, that there isn't going to be some kind of meltdown. The refs aren't going to flip the game. Like, we're still in that PTSD space, right? Microdosing helps. I've heard microdoses, folks, and that's coming to Michigan soon. But the help you with your PTSD, right? But the other side of it is by the time December gets here, that confidence may be emanating not just from the team, but from the fans. And that's to be able to sit there. I was texting with somebody who shall not be named today. This was one of the most relaxing Lions games I've watched in a very, very long time. It's so enjoyable.
Think about like the first half against Green Bay, how just enjoyable that, and then no stress. It was just like, is this really happening? Yeah, it's really happening. We should pinch ourselves and take stock of this, because this is everything that we've wanted for the longest times as fans.
Yeah.
Not as analysts or any of the stuff, just as a fan of this team, and wanting fans to be able to celebrate times like, as fans of the city, like we had with the Red Wings and the Pistons back, a while ago, just how incredible those runs were. And to think about what it would mean if the Lions did it, like how cool and how big it's going to be. As incredible as it was for the Lions, for the Red Wings and the Pistons to do it, the Lions doing it is an entirely different thing. It just is.
Yeah.
I think it's incredible. I'm super excited about it.
Aiden Hutchinson on track for 3.2 interceptions this season. Surpassing last year's total. This guy's incredible. He
really is
absolutely incredible. We talked about the hit he took, and you're right. I was like, from way up here to my heart was in my stomach when he took that hit. But
yeah,
one of the most beautiful interceptions. And I've been thinking about this a little bit, and we talk about how cornerbacks, they're the most athletic players on the field. Absolutely right, and it makes sense. But you look at what happens on the O-line, right? And I've been thinking about this a little bit. The absolute athleticism to move a pile of meat and bones that big and do the things that those guys do. I'm starting to question how I define athleticism, because watching our offensive line and like Hutchinson on the D line, these guys are absolutely incredible athletes. And I'm like, maybe my definition is wrong, right? Maybe I'm just looking for the Olympic fit guy as far as, you know, the most athletic when I think about like the cornerbacks, but holy shit, those boys, Taylor Decker, I mean, and Penei Sewell, what they can do, even Graham Glasgow down there, the way my guy moves, it's like, wow, there's
That's
something
big,
to this.
yeah. No, that's so when I look at like receivers, and I think receivers and corners, I think speed, quickness, like, you know, the stuff that is just it's a 100-meter race. So it's very easy to see them go from, you know, stopped to moving, and just how ridiculous it looks the way they move. But, you know, some of the scouting stuff, like if you want to find, generally speaking, if you want to find an interior offensive lineman, you don't necessarily need to watch them play so much. You just need to look at the short shuttle times. And that's where the crazy athleticism comes in. Like there's a number where if an interior offensive lineman gets underneath the 3-cone, that, you know, whatever it is, draft him, because generally speaking, more often than not, those guys pan out. And yes, the athleticism for those guys, for the interior players, is unbelievable. Looking at the way Penei Sewell moves, just think about the play where they want him out in space, kind of cracking on a corner and running like a bubble screen kind of thing. And it's like, how is this guy able to do this at 340 pounds and adjust himself in space and all this stuff? It's amazing. And just seeing how big they are too. You've been around them. You see how big they are, and the way they move is it's incredible. It really is.
Comments are just fire right now. New Lions moment. We care about the Eagles and 49ers losing because we have a stake in those games. It's so true. I mean, we like Lions fans. This is a thing Riz talks about a lot, that Lions fans are so myopic in only watching the Lions and not the rest of the league, and really don't know what's going on in the rest of the league. It's because the rest of the league never really had an effect on them, right? I mean, it was always just we are what we are, right? Now, Lions fans, now you have a reason to. Now you have a reason to go spend your time going around the league and looking around.
Pretty important game tonight.
Yeah. Watching
like the Dallas San Francisco game's a huge one. Like that's it's a really important game.
Yeah. Riley, was Ash doing the daily videos last season? I listen to him driving to work every morning, and they are outstanding. No, Riley, that's new this year, and Ash is fire. He's got such a great analysis of what's going on. It's again part of the vision of what we're trying to build is this difference in voices, and Ash brings just something that I don't have, absolutely, and Riz doesn't have. He just brings a very different kind of approach to how he looks at football, and it's as valid as anything I've heard. And just wait till we start talking about the cap. I've told people I would put Ash against anybody. I know Schlitt's really good at cap stuff too. I would put Ash against him any day of the week. Ash is probably the best cap guy I've ever talked to. He's incredible. And when we start getting concerned about that and thinking about that, you'll see. Ash is a great addition too. He's got some really good stuff, and folks, he had a lot of fun early, but people are starting to catch on to what he does, and he's doing really well out there.
They're very entertaining.
Yeah,
they are.
He's got that dry. It's almost like a British sense of humor. You know what I mean? It's very much Monty Python-y, a little sense to that. But I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Do you see the Lions extending Decker and Sewell, or moving Sewell to left tackle and letting him walk, pick up a 3-round comp pick? I'll let you go first, Scott, because I have my thoughts. And then it always follows up. What do they do with Jonah after that?
So this year is a absolutely perfect time to take a tackle early. I know it's not necessarily a position of need, but in this specific year, there are going to be, it's a change in the tackle market in the draft. The last couple of years, we've seen not great tackles, but also tackles who might be guards in a perfect world. This particular draft is not that draft. It is littered with 6'5", 6'6", 6'7" guys with long arms who can move. Olufashanu from Penn State, Joe Alt from Notre Dame. There's Kingsley Suamataia that nobody's talking about from BYU. Someday I'm going to make a podcast. I'm going to make a little video just about the BYU problem that Scott Bischoff has. And it's a problem. I see that helmet and I'm in love. It's just a thing. But Kingsley Suamataia is Penei Sewell's cousin. He is Penei Sewell. He's playing left tackle for BYU this year. He moves at a ridiculous level. He's, I want to say he was number 3 or number 2 on Feldman's Freaks list this year. As a huge kid, really long arms. He's only 19 or 20 right now. Georgia has one. Alabama has one. Duke has one. There are tackles with long arms everywhere in this draft. So answering the question, yeah, I think it would be a great thing from a financial standpoint to not have to pay Decker and then move Sewell out to play left tackle and draft a rookie and keep him for 5 years and keep the money hit down. But there's no guarantees, even if you were to take one, say at 20, there's no guarantees that that player works. And the flip side of the coin of the Decker conversation is you already know that's working. So do I want them to do that? Yeah, from a financial standpoint, it would be cool. But I think that's risky. And one of the reasons why Goff is working so well right now and their offense is just humming is because they're keeping him protected. And I think you have to keep that going. So yes, it's going to be expensive to pay some of these guys. But, I like where they are. And I think it's almost, I don't know if it would be a great idea to do what I've just detailed out them doing. Moving on from Decker and drafting a rookie and hoping, crossing your fingers, and let's hope this works. Well, if it doesn't, we're in a little bit of trouble. And it's trouble that you brought on yourself. So I know that I've just given you both sides of the coin.
No, but it's true, right? I mean, either one can be true, and to act as if one or the other is the only way is just simply ignore the possibility, right?
They both come with issues. I mean, if you pay Decker, it's money that you can't pay somebody else. If you move on from Decker, you're really taking on some risk. And chances are that it's not good risk, that it's not going to work. I don't know that I'd want to move on from Decker. I just, I don't think that's a smart, great plan. I would understand it completely because Amon-Ra is going to have to get a bunch of money. And Penei Sewell's going to have to get a bunch of money, and Goff is due money. And then you mentioned it, Jonah Jackson's going to get money. There's a lot that's going to have to go out. I look forward to hearing from Ash. The salary cap is almost a figment. It's almost something that you only have to be concerned about one time a year at 1 minute a year, and then everything else doesn't mean much. There's a way to structure all these contracts to make all this stuff work. But there is only so much to go around. So, paying attention to what you have to pay Decker is smart. But, I'm not sure that it's smart to go any other way. He's a very good player. Chris, what do you think?
So the thing that people, and I was guilty of this for a while too, and the Slack set me straight. Tackles play till 38 years old these days. And Decker's only 30. I mean, he could have 2 contracts in him, right? So to say he's at the end of his career, nothing is pointing to that. Nothing is pointing to that. So that's one thing. I think so. You sign Decker, you keep. It winds up putting the pressure on how do you keep Jackson, right? That's where the pressure comes. So it's all about how do you structure the contract. I think they want to keep these guys. Jonah is all of these guys are absolutely bought in to this team, right? I think Vaitai will move on from him as good as he is, and it's just availability often for him, and that's I think the space we're going to be looking. They're always going to be looking for talent, and it's one of the things that this offensive line enables everything that happens on the offense to happen. It is the enabler for everything. You talk about how good Goff is. You talk about how great the wide receivers are. Neither of those things happen if Goff's getting hit the second he gets his hands on the ball. We've seen that with other teams. Yeah. We've seen players in the backfield. The defensive players have all the advantages and all the athleticism on their side. It's offensive line is one of the toughest things to play, positions to play on the field. So I think they're going to try to keep that group together. I have a lot of faith in Disner, right? And so here's the other side of that. Again, I'm gonna play a little bit of both sides as you did, right? If they let someone go, especially after seeing the Jamal Williams and David Montgomery kind of flip this year, I'll trust it. I'm fine. Whatever. I have my mindset. They probably do things different. They get paid a lot more money to do this than I do. Like, hey, hit that super chat. But they do a lot better at this than I do. And there's a reason. There's a reason. So especially with the trajectory this team has. So I'm interested more than anything to see how they do it. But it's going to be cat magic if they're able to keep these guys. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
There is magic to be done too. We've seen it. So, I really hope they do keep this group together as much as they can, because it's working. And flipping the coin to going to the other side of the coin doesn't mean it's going to work. And like you just said, the offense is just humming because of its ability to keep Jared Goff comfortable.
Yep.
It just is. If you're going to spend, I mentioned kind of sneakily Devontae Adams earlier. What does he look like? What does he make this offense look like? You know what I mean? Like, think about, you make a move like that, you're pushing your chips into the middle of the table and saying, hey, Philly and Dallas, bring it, because we can hang with you guys, and we think we can beat you. Our offense is that good. He's a perfect kind of player for Jared Goff as a quarterback. But some of that's speculative in nature, but it's still the kind of move I would think that they would make in the short term to capitalize on this window. I think Taylor Decker I don't think he is like an elite left tackle, but he's absolutely a guy you should pay. He has plenty of time left. He's not breaking down. He's not, he's a very good player. He's been a very reliable, steady player.
That unit together is part of that. And you look around the league, like the talent, especially at depth, but just the talent across the O-line. There's a reason we have one of the top lines in the league. Are you willing to trade that away? I don't know that I am, right? So
I'm not either.
It's important.
I'm just,
it's key. And I just watched the Cardinals choke. I think it's going to be. I think they're going to do everything they can to keep this group together. They like Detroit. They like what's going on in Detroit, and that's one of the things that is. I think it's going to change some of how contracts work in Detroit, because players like it here, want to play here, are going to like. People would take discounts to play for the Patriots during those heady years and those dynasty years, right? People would they would just do it. I have a sense that a little bit of that is going to happen in Detroit, but also it's going to happen because there's something that the Lions have that other teams didn't, and that's Brad Holmes' hit rate in the draft is through the roof. And if you keep hitting like Brad Holmes does, people are going to go away. Good players are gonna go away because they want too much money. That's okay. It's okay for players to chase the ring, but those guys go somewhere else, and it's okay because you just keep drafting stud after stud after stud after stud. So it's interesting to see how
and
that
you're
play
right.
out.
We need to. He's obviously proven to this point that we need to trust what he's doing.
Yep. Hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink?
A little bit too much. Thank God I'm off tomorrow. My name is Thomas, longtime fan, and just a great game. I just wanted to ask y'all, seeing how we're in a great situation, team's playing great. We're coming up on the midseason trade. Is there any players, any position you think we need a trade for, or are you all in on a big trade, or just kind of pieces? I'm thinking like Kendall Fuller, like a quarterback. I think we could use like another depth piece behind what we got back there. What are y'all thinking?
What do you got, Bish?
I agree. The Mosley situation might press some of that. Obviously, injuries are always a problem, and they're always going. They seem to be piling up. But Kendall Fuller's a good player. He'd be an interesting ad. Obviously, if you get bad news with Mosley, you need help. They do, and that might force their hand a touch. And it's always a good position
the Rams
to address.
thing, or
Say it again, caller. Sorry.
I'm asking, would y'all do like the Rams situation where you're like, oh, we have a window here, let's mortgage like higher picks, or you're thinking, let's play it safe, we got a good thing, here's a 6th or a 5th, let's patch up, we need to patch up and hope we can put it together and take advantage of the window?
Yeah, I wouldn't mortgage anything because I think they just opened the window and they plan to keep it open. I think they're going to start to try to take out the wall. There's nothing there that says that they're shooting for a short-term piece here. Their whole foundational principle is to build a team like this, and there's nothing they've done from a contract perspective. I mean, all these 1-year deals that they got for like CJ, GJ, and all this kind of stuff. They continue to build this team without mortgaging the future. And if they, again, this would be unstoppable. Can you think about 3 more years of building on this team like we've just had? And then an ongoing, just this nonstop level of talent additions and turn on the roster. It's an unstoppable piece. And so I don't think that they're going to take the short-term view of, handcuffing themselves in 3 years. I think they're just always going to field the very, very best team they can and make sure they don't screw themselves the next couple of years, because they'll eventually have to win Super Bowls by doing that.
Yeah.
Scott? They'll have to win. You can view things in both the short term and the long term and use draft assets to go get players, right? I mean, the Rams did do that before they did win the Super Bowl. They did it with Jalen Ramsey. They did it with Brandon Cooks. Steve-O in the chat is talking about Patrick Surtain. Yes, that's the kind of move that would be, you give up a first round pick, a first and a second, whatever, a couple first, whatever it is. It's a big swing, but it's all like, adding a player like who's 25, I think like Surtain is, that's not a leveraging your future kind of move.
Right.
He's going to play with you for a long time. Maybe trading for Devontae Adams is a future, maybe makes it, a little burden on the future, but we'll see. I think that it'll be interesting before the trade deadline to see what Brad Holmes does do, because it'll tell you what his thoughts are. But I think Chris is 100% right. They're not going to waste future years in a very short-term move right now. If they do anything, I think it would be for a younger player, kind of like Surtain. Boy, would that be a move. That would be,
yeah, thank you, brother.
Yeah, that would be a very exciting move.
Yeah, for sure. Lot going on. A big win team. People looking for other pieces. And no team is perfect, right? That's the nature of the NFL. That's the nature of a salary cap. But this is something. Giving away your picks, for a guy who's 25, 24 years old, right? You look at something that you're basically drafting a known quantity at that point, rather than
you're using a first round pick on a Pro Bowl corner kind of player.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Yep. Please.
Yeah, I'll take that. So there you go. Good show, good game, good team, good fun.
Good day.
It is. It's going to be a great evening. Check us out this week. Let's a couple of things. Please like, subscribe. Don't forget about that. We appreciate when you do that. That helps other people find us, help us keep growing, and keep funding all this and doing the things we do, bringing the great talent in to bring these shows together. Appreciate you. Thank you, Scott, for jumping in. Love to do this. Let's get more
anytime
Scott post-game shows, because you're a lucky medallion, my friend.
I would love to join you for the next 12 to 15 weeks, buddy.
Just like this. Oh man, let's just do it through the end of February. Don't forget about us on Patreon, patreon.com/Detroit Lions podcast, patreon.com/Detroit Lions podcast. Get access to the Slack chat if you donate as little as $5 a month, which is the most intelligent Lions chat on the internet. And hey, I mean, Wisco's there. It doesn't mean that everybody's smart, but the content of what is conversed is very good. Good place to be, even to disagree without being disagreeable. Good people there. Check us out on Twitter at Bischoff Scott. You see it right there, BISCHOFF, Bischoff _ Scott, and at DET Lions Podcast. It's DET Lions Podcast. As you know, it's so exciting. The future's so bright. We can't wear pants. That's where you get us pants free all the time on the Twitter machine. We're on Blue Sky too, and we're going to use all of our little invites to get the Bishes and all the other folks on there. Blue Sky, for those that don't know, is made by the people who did the original Twitter. Their engineers put together, and it's just a distributed platform. It's a better kind of backbone, if you will, and it's separated off from Twitter. It's got a real, I mean, people talk about threads. It's always a disappointment. Blue Sky really has potential to be. It is old Twitter. It is old Twitter, is what it feels like. It's a fantastic platform. So we're going to get all our folks on there as well, but that's a great place. We're on there as well, Detroit Lions Podcast, or DET Lions Podcast there. Call us on Skype, Detroit Lions Podcast, all one word, or call us on the Lions line at 248-782-8384. That's 248-RUB-UFUG. And be sure to go to DetroitLionsPodcast.com, subscribe to the podcast, do your subscribes here, do it on the podcast apps. Likes, nice reviews, all those things. We appreciate it. Helps other people find us, help us do this, like we said. And thank you for tuning in. We're going to see you next time on the Detroit Lions Podcast. Scott, thank you, sir, for jumping in. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Chris. Have a good week.
Remember, no pants, no toasters, no hot tubs, no problems, because we are your Detroit Lions and Reddit Connection. 4-1, more to come.